I'm a boy mom. But there was a time when I wondered if I'd ever be a mom at all. 5 pregnancies, 1 kid. So I was all in for this one. I wanted the best for him. Infant swimming, check. Private school, check. Music lessons, check. Team sports, check. That one he liked. So I took my place on the sidelines with the other boy moms, to offer an encouraging word. All right, I was a screamer. Most of the time I ended up cheering for somebody else's kid. Some of those little guys were real go-getters. But my kid, he was just in it for the juice boxes and his buddies. He played, but with a total lack of passion. It was like watching a goofy lab puppy out there chasing his tail. He went to a summer camp on the East Coast, and he came back playing lacrosse with his best friend. Well, that's cute, I thought. Sure, I'll buy you a stick. So I plunked my lawn chair down on the lacrosse sideline, not knowing anything about the sport. Did you know it's perfectly legal for them to whack each other with those sticks? I wasn't sure how long the lab puppy was going to put up with that. So long before I was ready, testosterone raised its ugly head at our house. In 18 months, my kid gained 45 pounds of muscle, grew 9 inches, and stopped talking. To me, at least. He wasn't rebellious. He just acted like his life was none of my business. I know, they all go through it. But nobody told me how much it was going to hurt my feelings. I missed him. And it was like he had that lacrosse stick surgically implanted in his hand now. He'd come home from school, grab that stick, and go out to the wall and throw the ball against the wall. 100 lefty, 100 right. Every day. And on the field, I barely recognized him. The lab puppy found his way to the penalty box. He played with reckless abandon. I did recognize that. The happiest times of my life are times when I have been all in. In 7th grade, he announced that he wanted to play lacrosse in college. Asked if he could take private lessons to work on the weak part of his game. My husband and I talked it over. This was the first time we'd ever seen him even approach all-in status on anything. And in a sport where he gets whacked with a stick. We had our reservations. So I know this next part is going to sound crazy. We put our house on the market and moved 2 miles south to Highland Park, the juggernaut of Texas lacrosse. And I'm married to an architect, so we can't just buy a house, we have to build one. So we bought a fantastic lot and rented a house, and my kids started 8th grade at McCullough. Instant friends, less homework, and a lot of pretty girls. And his lacrosse team won the division championship, so he was entirely happy. Well, at least that's what I heard, because he wasn't talking to me, except in monosyllables. And my husband was completely preoccupied designing the new house. I barely saw him. They were both in the zone. Me, not so much. I was the one left sobbing while I packed up all my kids' childhood memories. Nope, I was packing up all my mom memories. I was actually grieving as I shuffled between the rental house and the one that hadn't sold yet. I was going to miss hanging out with my boy mom friends. And honestly, the bubble never held much appeal for me. I wasn't sure I was going to have anything in common with anybody. But, I've been pleasantly surprised. Everybody has been really, really friendly, and a lot of people have gone way out of their way to welcome us. But the main reason I'm there is I'm indulging my kid's hobby. That's a little hard to explain. We finally sold our house and had to live in a hotel for 8 weeks. Then we moved into the new house, and while my husband traveled for work, I lived with a construction crew for 8 weeks. Lacrosse season rolled around, and my kid made the varsity team, one of only 2 freshmen. It was a big deal. He worked for it and earned his spot. He'd be playing against juniors and seniors all year, many of them outweighing him by 30 pounds with the stick. I saw him less now. He lived at practice 5 days a week, 3 hours a night. Don't forget the weekly team dinner. And I bought an $85 sign for the front yard, a varsity privilege that my kid expected but failed to acknowledge. He had 4 lax girls who delivered cookie cakes and posters before every game. And to tell the truth, the team kind of sucked. They lost too many games by 1 point and ended the season with a losing record. My kid wasn't getting much playing time, and worse, he didn't seem to care. I was afraid he was just in it for the props again. Only now, instead of juice boxes, it's lax girls and hanging out with juniors and seniors. Kind of felt like lacrosse was whacking me with a big stick. The season was essentially over. To even qualify for playoffs, we had to replay one of those teams that beat us by 1 point on their turf. I was impressed at the HP fan turnout. Even the drum line showed up at an away game for lacrosse. And it worked. We gutted it out and won by 1 point in overtime. So we're on to the playoffs. And we beat the top Houston team and the top Austin team. And in that one, we're far enough ahead in the game that my kid actually plays. I hadn't seen him really play for almost a year. But there it was, that reckless abandon. He won his face-off, and he made 2 goals. And coach awarded him the game ball. Not that he told me. I overheard the team cheering for him. You know, it choked me up to realize they knew something about a kid I didn't, which was he'd been working his ass off. Now we're living a sports movie. Next up, state semifinals against the number 1 seed and undefeated powerhouse that has stomped us not 2 weeks earlier. Friday, I packed my blue and gold, and as the team boards the bus, someone handed me a tin can with a customized Highland Park label that had been filled with nuts and bolts. Really annoying. And inside I'm thinking, you can shake that can all you want. We don't have a chance. But on Saturday, our team came out like they were on fire, cooking with gas. They were a running, passing, shot blocking, stick whacking, all in. And at halftime, the game is tied 4-4. Let me tell you, it is a beautiful sound, the sound of 75 cans filled with balls. I found my place that day, standing on a metal bleacher in the 90-degree heat, shaking my tin can and screaming with all the other boy moms. And we watched our sons find something they didn't even know they had. And finally, they squeaked out 1 more goal. And somehow, and to this day I don't know how, they held the powerhouse scoreless for 2 quarters, something nobody had done all year. I think even the announcer was speechless. Sunday, the team boarded the bus, and I proudly took my place among the 40 parents standing in the hotel lobby, shaking our cans at those boys. They tried to look cool. My kid didn't even glance my way, but I saw the corners of his mouth showed up. And this story ends just like a sports movie should. We won 5-4. State champions with a losing record. I ran up to my kid, exhilarated, shocked. He voluntarily hugged me in public. And he looked a little like that lab puppy to me. And we felt the exact same way for the first time in a long time. This was why we moved. Not for lacrosse. Not for a state championship. We moved so we could teach him that it is completely normal to organize your life around whatever it is you love. Because once you know how it feels to be all in, it doesn't matter if you get whacked with a stick.